Good morning and welcome to BOTB HQ in Parsons Green, South West London. My name is Christian Williams, the presenter here at BOTB, where we're here this morning to judge the latest Dream Car competition, which ran from the 4th to the 10th of May 2020. And just before I hand over to Alex, once again, massive congratulations to the winner of the Dream Car competition last week. Dmytro Modzewski won the amazing Porsche Turbo S, £156,000 car. I'm now going to pass over to Alex Brooks from Onside Law, who will oversee the proceedings this morning.
Thanks very much, Christian. Good morning, everybody. My name is Alex Brooks from Onside Law, and I'll be overseeing the judging this morning. Firstly, I can confirm that the competition data has already been sent to the auditors, Wilkins Kennedy. I would now like to introduce today's judges. First up, it's Matt Cannon.
Good morning, my name is Matt Cannon. I'm a senior county referee and active footballer.
If you could now use the secure link provided and mark on the screen where you think the centre of the ball should be, and then talk us through your decision, please.
There's 4 players in shot. 2 are really just onlooking. There's 1 player in red and white at the front who's looking into play. There's a second player in red and white that's behind the middle player, well, the player in the centre of the screen in yellow, who looks like he's trying to challenge the player in yellow. The first player in yellow looks like he's one arm up, and his facial expression and his look on his face, to me, looks like he's being pushed in the back. And he's sort of being pushed away from the ball, and he's looking straight up and over. The second player in yellow on the far left of our screen, he's got his arms up, and I think he's coming in to head the ball, and he's looking straight up to the ball. And I've cross-referenced the 2 players in yellow's eyes, and I put the centre of the ball where my cross is.
Thanks, Matt. If you could now please hit submit, and we'll come back to you at the end for the panel decision. Next up, Peter Giorgio.
Good morning, my name's Peter Giorgio. I am a futsal and football referee. Yes, we've got 4 players in the shot, and we've got 1 spectator in the background. 2 players in yellow jumping for the ball. We've got a player to the right, as I look at the screen, in red, looking in, looking up. And then we've got a player in the background again, which is the red player behind the centre yellow. Looking at the body language of the 2 players in yellow, favourite for the ball, I believe, is going to be the one on the left-hand side. His arms have gone up, he's going up, he's looking as if he's going to meet the ball. The ball's going to meet him, I should say. Interesting, the guy, the other yellow player, I believe he was in the mix, but I think the player in the red behind him, he shoved him. That's why his facial expression is what it is. So he's had a good old shove, but I still believe that player in the yellow player to the left is favourite for the ball. So what I've done is I've used their eye lines and cross-reference those, especially the ones in yellow. And I've had it's interesting, the player on the right-hand side, the red player, even though his head's tilted more down, but his eyes I believe are looking up. So into that general level. So that's where I've placed the centre of the ball, is where my white cross is.
Next, it's Leo Donovan.
Good morning, my name is Leo Donovan. I'm an ex-professional football player, having been with Chelsea, Fulham and Leyton Orient. There's 2 players in shot. They're jumping obviously to head the ball. I think they've both got a chance to win the header. I think the player behind has got both of his arms raised. His shoulders are up, his hands are up, so he's going to challenge for this header. He looks quite confident with his body shape that he can get to this header, get to the ball. I think the player in front is a little bit more off balance, but he's still challenging for this ball. So if you look at both of their eye lines and their body shapes, I think the ball is just above the player in front, but the player from behind is going to come through and challenge for the header. So that's why I decided to go there.
Next up, Andy Braithwaite.
Good morning, I'm Andy Braithwaite. I'm a football referee, mentor and licensed observer. Player, the main central character, the player in amber here, I feel is favourite to head the ball, although he's being contested with his colleague. I think they're both going up to a dropping in ball here, judging by their arms, etc., the body language, his shirt's raised up. So he's on the way up, basically. He's on the height of his jump. The guy in the background, say the way his hands are held, he thinks he's going to head it as well, but I feel that the guy in the centre is going to head the ball. There's a chap, an opposition guy, just tucked in behind him, and there's obviously being held off or certainly not favourite to get the ball. And the other guy in red, his colleague here, I've taken quite a bit from his, although I can't see his actual eyes as such, the lashes, the way his eyes open in a natural position. His head position has given me the angle here. The guy in furthest over to the left, he's looking reasonably high. Going back to my central guy, I just feel that the ball is somewhere within the sort of parameter of his arms being held out as the way he is. And so I've come to the conclusion that somewhere in the middle of those eye lines is the centre of the ball. They're all looking at the ball, but that is the centre of the ball is where I've placed my cross.
Next, Ari Mendonca.
Hi, my name is Ari Mendonca. Been involved with football for over 30 years. Firstly as a player, now as a referee. Yes, so we have two players in red and white. Both of them are preventing the player in yellow in front to reach with. I felt that he was the one in advantage position to head this ball, but his other teammate is behind him, which will assure that he's going to head his ball over here. So this player is being grabbed on his left arm by this player, and behind him there's another one pushing him. So I feel that he's not the one who's going to win this challenge, but his teammate behind him will do it. So both of them, they are looking at the ball, and I just look for both eye lines and where the intersection goes. That's what I placed my dot.
And finally, Nigel Hicks.
My name is Nigel Hicks. I've been a football referee for 30 years. I'm a Middlesex FA referee, experienced across academy and semi-pro football over that time. Also a counsellor for Middlesex FA. Okay, so the ball appears to be dropping from a high trajectory down towards the two defenders, the forward's mask, so you can't see what he's doing, but where he's looking. But based on the eye line of the two defenders, it appears to be dropping more immediately onto the defender in front, and that's why I placed my cross there.
Thanks, judges. Okay, Matt, as the main judge, could you now please come to a panel decision with the other 5 judges? And for your reference, the larger white cross is the calculated average of the 6 individual selections.
Yeah, just so you know, I felt that the player far left in yellow was coming over the top of the 2 players in front of him to head the ball. And it looked to me like the guy behind the middle yellow player was sort of interfering with him in the air and pushing him away. I will draw some lines. Up with Nigel at the top there, it's quite wide.
I'm the outlier there.
And from this player up, I thought he's looking quite steeply. So there are the parameters. If I start with you, Andy, you're the lowest of us. Yep. What were your thoughts?
I actually thought that the guy in the centre of the screen, I thought he was going to head the ball myself. He's going up. His jersey's raised. He's on the way up, if you like. The guy behind, as I said, they both look as if they're both attacking the ball. Look like they're going to head it. But I just felt that the guy in front, slightly more so. I've also taken a little bit from the guy to the opponent in the red to the right. Although you can't see his eyeballs, you can see the sort of the angle of his head, the eyelashes, which gave me a place the centre of my ball. But I feel that, as I say, that the guy over to the left is looking just slightly above, or the angle of just above the guy in front of him's arm, and the guy in the middle, as I say, is literally where most of us are all looking in that gaze. I think we're all right on that bit there, in my opinion.
Yeah, if I just draw that, it's sort of a field of vision there.
Yeah.
Again, it goes slightly up higher with Nigel's.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll come to you, Nigel. You're at the
Sure.
top by quite a bit from us. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, well, two things. Firstly, I wasn't really taking account of the attacking player as Andy was there. I was more focused on the two defenders. I felt as the defender was leaning backwards that the ball was dropping over the top of him. So although he was looking up at it, that was how I'd interpreted the ball as being at a higher point, as I felt he was trying to lean back towards it. But yeah, I can absolutely see where you're coming from with your assessment of it.
Yeah. Peter, you're in the middle of everybody. Your thoughts?
Yeah, my thoughts were the player in the middle, the yellow player, is being pushed at the back by the player in the red. Same thoughts as yourself, Matt. And with that happening, the guy on the left-hand side, in yellow, he looks like the favourite. Again, coming in and, like you said as well, to not climbing on him, but looking like he's going to get over both those players to head the ball, and his facial expressions do look to me like he's going to be favourite for the heading of the ball.
Yeah.
I've also taken a little bit of consideration for the guy in red on the right hand side as you look at the screen, with his angle of his head stroke eyes. So that's where I put the centre of the ball.
Yeah. And you, Harry, you're ever so slightly to the right of us all, but you're in the midst of the majority of judges. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, it's exactly the same as you guys. I felt that the two players in red and white, they were concerned with the player in yellow in the middle. They both of them, one on the back and the other one grabbing his left arm, preventing him to jump farther and reach for the ball. Luckily, he had his teammate on the side. Like he feels comfortable. He's not going to get it, but his teammate is going to get to this ball. The direction of the is looking towards this, and I felt as well the player on the right side in red, as Andy said, we cannot see his eyes, but we have the shape of his head. He's looking toward the general direction. Yeah, I felt it's
yeah, okay,
the right place.
Yeah. And lastly, Leo, you're again in the middle of everybody. What were your feelings on the picture?
I just felt the player to the left is going to win the header. I think he's a little bit. It's like he's elevating. He's going up as we're looking at the picture. I think the other player in yellow has been interfered with, and he's possibly even sort of coming down a little bit. So the player to the left for me is the dominant player who's probably going to win the header, even though the other player in yellow, he still might win this header, but I believe it's the player to the left. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we got an average in here. If I take Nigel out,
I was going to suggest that, Matt.
Yeah.
Because that where I've placed it doesn't make sense if you look at the red player's eye line as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that brings the average down and encompasses all of us. Obviously, there is a tighter bunch of you four, and I'm slightly higher up and to the left than you. I just felt this player was looking up quite steeply with his eyes. If I draw another line with Nigel out, it becomes a much narrower angle, and the rest of the the red lines from the second player's yellow eyes. Any thoughts on my choice? Anybody?
I think it's in there anyway. Yeah, exactly the way you put with the zoom covers everybody.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt. Can you just put in another green line in from the guy in red, so we show the other angle, please?
That's the one, yeah.
That's a very narrow band. I think we've all agreed he's on looking. He's looking up, but it more, to my mind, looks at his head position. He's not looking so high. He'd be sort of craning back a bit, personally.
Matt, would you consider just see what it looks like with you taken out?
It moves right into the middle of the four of you.
What do you reckon on that?
My worry is this player in the middle is I just thought he was looking further up. That was all.
Thing is, if he's been pushed forward or he's on the fall, he's coming down, then his eyes may still be like slightly away from where the ball is because he's been moved unexpectedly.
I mean, taking myself out. I mean, I would argue that I'm sort of equidistant between myself and Andy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I took myself and Andy out, I think it goes back to where it was before.
See, I think the player to the left, to me, he looks like he's looking quite steep.
Yeah.
So I've got a preference for the average cross to stay a bit higher rather than come lower, because I don't think it makes so much sense with the player to the left if it comes down.
Okay.
Andy? Again, on this, you're the lowest now, and I'm the highest. Sort of.
Just leave that over there a second. Just leave it as if it's a ball. As I said, the guy in the centre, I feel personally that slightly to the right, roughly where it is now, is probably about right. As Leo said, the guy over to the left, yes, he is looking slightly steeper, but as I said, from my point of view, I felt he was literally just looking over the 2D picture that we're looking at of the guy in the middle's hand. I think he's literally just looking across there, but where that is there regarding the centre of the ball, I feel that looks about right.
Leo, what do you think?
Where it is now, I mean, it does work. I just feel the player to the left, for me, I feel he's going to win the header. So
because if I take myself out, it does drop quite a bit.
Yeah. And I think with you, Matt, I think your cross, it works. So I sometimes think you shouldn't take crosses out because, your cross works. I think my cross works.
Yeah.
As the other judges. So
I'm happy to go with that.
Yeah. And Nigel, just to confirm, be removed.
Sure, yeah. I think where I put mine doesn't make sense for the red player. The angle's too steep there as well. So I think that makes more sense for me.
Okay.
Okay, judges, is everyone happy with that decision?
yes. Yeah.
Okay, Matt, if you could now hit submit, please. Okay, the coordinates selected are 1494954. These coordinates will now be passed to Wilkins Kennedy to calculate the winner of the competition, and they will then inform BOTB. That concludes the judging process. Thank you.